Now I want to use this example to help explore when we combine functions, we're also curious or going to be curious about its domain. So I have f of x and g of x, and I'm asked to go ahead and add f plus g of x. And as we remembered, that becomes f of x plus g of x, in this case x plus 3, plus g of x, x minus 2. Now in this particular example, there's nothing for me to go ahead and continue on. There's no like terms, so I'm left in this particular, I'm able to stop here. But the question is going to continue to ask, what we want to know is, what's its domain? What values of x is this function available at? So what we need to do is find out the domain of this first term and the domain of that second term and find out which is common to both. Well, for this to have a domain that's realized, we need to make sure that it's a non-negative number. So we're asking ourselves, what are the values of x plus 3 that are greater than or equal to 0? And in this case, it's x is greater than or equal to negative 3. Or if we use that in interval notation, that becomes negative 3 to infinity. Likewise, over here, we're looking for all the values of x minus 2 that are greater than or equal to 0. X minus 2 greater than or equal to 0. Add the 2 to both sides. So all x's that are greater than or equal to 2 is the domain of that second term. And in interval notation, we can also write that as 2, comma, infinity. And notice it's a hard bracket because 2 can be an answer. So that's the domain of f of x. That's the domain of g of x. But we need to find out what's the domain that's common to both of those. And one way that I like to do that is I like to determine that visually. So if I drew a number line and I looked at all the values from negative 3, so 0, negative 1, let's make that a 0. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. I know that it's all those solutions there, including that solution. This one right here is all the solutions from 2 to infinity. So let's find 2. There's 1, there's 2. And so this represents on the number line all the solutions that are part of the domain true of the second function. So now I'm just looking at where they common at. And I see that the only place that they're common at is right there. Only values greater than 2 and equal to 2 are common to both of those. So my domain of f plus g of x, the place where they both have a shared domain, would be right there, from 2 to infinity, or hard 2 to infinity.